Hello, welcome to Content from Scratch. This is a, a new series that Alchemical Records has been putting together, working on introducing some concepts and topics that we deal with as a publication and a multimedia news platform of sorts. I really like to think of ourselves as more of a music discovery platform. And hopefully that's where, the tool, the resource that Alchemical is providing for you. Uh, we are tonight going to cover on how does Alchemical Records conduct interviews and live stream Q&As. We've done a lot of different things over the years. We actually during the pandemic mostly avoided the live stream space. There were so many active communities, active people that we were really more reinforcing or supporting the existing entities that were popping up, artists that were trying to put together live stream performances to earn money. So that was really more of our landscape. Now I suppose that live streaming has become passé, and everybody's found other activities to do again. The notion of like, why does Alchemical Records, why are we entering the live stream space? It has a lot to do with the fact that we are a multimedia site. So in the long term, I'd love for Alchemical Records to be a platform that has the editorial content, the live stream Q&A, some like high level quality broadcast style video components that are included as well. The in-print magazine, which launches next month. Let's see, boop. Now we can do this. Now I can show you Alchemical Records magazine launches next month. We've got 2 levels of subscription. One is for just kind of your basic subscription with free shipping. We've got some early supporter bonuses like a signed copy of issue number 1, in-print recognition, as well as invitation to our VIP launch party. And then we've also got like the supporter package where we're doing behind the scenes about how what the drawings are for Alchemical Records and the new redesign of the logo, the artwork that's included, the characters that we're developing, the conversations about what the narrative is for the zine in context with the rest of the work that we're doing. So please, if Alchemical Records is impacting your music discovery in a positive way, consider subscribing or becoming a supporter of the in-print zine. That right now is the only paywall, I guess you could say, between us and our audience. Everywhere else on the site that you go to is completely free and clear. So I'd also like to take this opportunity to mention that we are a proud media partner with DC Music Summit. And last week we posted an article on their website, and it has been republished now to our own site. But I hope that this will encourage you to go and check out all of the offerings at the dcmusicsummit.org website, including how to register, volunteer, attend, present, or perform. We are excited to be able to share with you the individuals that are going to be performing and speaking there as soon as the announcement is made. So tonight I got the opportunity to join our contributing writer, Cynthia Gross, for a live stream interview with Field Rush. Mara Marcelino, our social media coordinator, was also on that call. We got to join Diego, Jin, and Trevor just to learn a little bit more about their brand new EP called Fundamentals. And so that would be a good place for us to begin. Certainly you can find that particular video here as your, Let me drop it in the chat. And then, let's see, close, come back to that, I suppose. Obviously, like one of the first places that we begin to try to develop the live stream is coming from a place of, let's see if I can, no, there's got to be a better way to do that. Here we go. So we usually receive an incoming submission. If you are keeping track of the last couple of weeks, they're a lot more ordered than they were when we first launched the series. I want to say maybe about 2 months ago now. And so I think it was 3 videos ago that we'd covered about what is the submission process? How do we go through selecting from the large number of submissions that we're receiving on a daily basis? And the prerequisite of all of those things is in that video. But once we've decided that we're going to write editorial content about somebody, there's a couple of angles. Like, I like relationships that continue. I feel like if we're going to cover an artist in one capacity, then we should have the willingness to try to explore, other aspects of what we're doing in media. So whether that's Mara doing a Instagram takeover with an artist, or whether that's us doing a live stream, all of that could vary depending on the artist and the platform, or what kind of media they want to share, or how comfortable they are with live streaming. So we try to create a lot of different avenues, even in terms of the interviews that we conduct. If they're private interviews, we might, we might actually not get a chance to get them onto a private one-on-one interview at all, because they either don't have time or they're timid about the meeting space. So you send questions in that circumstance. But we're always trying to find a way of reaching the artist and then getting that story out there, getting the story behind the music out there. So once we have that interest, then it's all a matter of availability. I try to have some clear processes. We mostly have done our live streams on Monday and Wednesday at 8:00. And that creates consistency, something that I can schedule around my family. That's something that our team can schedule around. We may also reduce the number of live streams that we're doing to just being on either one or just being on one of those days, just because of the other kinds of media that we're trying to create. So we'd rather consistently create a great piece of content on Monday with the live stream with our interviews, and maybe Wednesdays with the live stream here on the Developing Content from Scratch platform. So always an evolution. But right now we're pretty consistently doing Mondays and Wednesdays at 8. Timeliness. So this is kind of an interesting conundrum. So if you are doing the interview and it's around the editorial content and none of it is going live, then it doesn't necessarily hold as much weight as an interview that you're going to cut into a piece of content around a release, or the notion of before a release, we're trying to create hype, but if there's no place to point somebody to content-wise, then there's not much effectiveness in it. We can point people towards old content, but if we're trying to draw a buzz around something that you're going to release in the future, we have to be able to have the time, I'd say, to promote the live stream properly, which honestly right now has been somewhere between a week and 3 weeks. We have our next live stream scheduled for next Wednesday with Elle Mitchell. We're currently coordinating to put together a live stream with Jacob Bennett, who has an upcoming show at, I'll get it wrong. They have an upcoming show on the 24th. So we're trying to do a live stream before that. And we'll be able to reveal some media, and we'll be able to, promote the upcoming live performance in that aspect. So it is important to know, are we promoting something before or after the event, and how do we direct the right message in advance of, or how do we direct the message to point people to check out the content to the degree that we're trying to. Like with Field Rush, we had an EP. So as exciting as it is to be able to share the songs from, as exciting as it is to be able to share like two of the songs in that live stream, we did Nectarine and we did Space something. I'm drawing a blank here, but both of those songs had a lot of meaning, and we were able to like carve out a lot of the conversation based on those two tracks within a limited amount of time. And so now there's additional songs on the EP that, we want you to check out. So, the timing of it is really important, and knowing when that media is going to drop and how you as an artist want people to engage with it. The interview is, again, like an interview is more of the private aspect. So, we might send a list of questions and get a response, and maybe have things that could be fleshed out better over the phone or over Zoom. I try to schedule the interviews via Zoom whenever possible because I think most people are comfortable with the platform. It allows us to record it, and then I have that integrated with some of my calendar. So when somebody schedules an appointment for an interview, it automatically comes up on my calendar, hopefully restricting conflicts if I already have something on my calendar that they can pick the next available time. So if it's just a private interview, I generally try to conduct it during the day. We are doing more of the live streaming stuff at night. So trying to split the parameters a little bit. And in the Livestream Q&A pre-event, we have graphics that have to be created for each one. So the Field Rush event, let's see, I cannot get to it here. So let me get to it this way. For the Field Rush event, we start with the largest banner first, which I know that I'm going to create the announcement of the event through Restream, which is the platform that we're using now to broadcast to you, to Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube. And so I know that I'm going to have to put an event banner there. And I also know that our primary event is going to be hosted on Eventbrite as a way of just joining more event aggregators. And then if I create the event on Eventbrite, I'm able to duplicate or I guess like emulate, if you will, the creation of a Facebook event out of that Eventbrite event. So trying to reduce the amount of times I have to go through that signal chain, and just this one banner kind of covers all of those needs. And then we put a banner up on the website. Initially, like even tonight, I haven't changed it yet. So if you go to the Alchemical Records website, let's see, I've messed that. Let's see. Here we go. Whoops. So I start with the primary event banner that gets us all the way to the Restream event and the Facebook event. And then we have the website banner that fits on the homepage, and in the center it'll say, click here for details. That'll take people to the Eventbrite page with the event details. And then after the fact, I change it to a watch the replay button, and then we'll direct people to typically the YouTube video, just because it's less restrictive on things like having an account in order to view it. Then we've got the Instagram post size image, as well as the Instagram stories size image. And that needs to be done for each one. So we have photos. We also have to get those photos cleared from artists or their press agent. Sometimes we'll get a logo. Sometimes we'll get word marks. So we'll try to get as much of the details about the artist as we can. The outline or the script, you can see here now kind of the importance of some of these aspects, the providing everybody the correct meeting link in advance. We've got Restream support instructions here. So if you're an artist, you can actually rebroadcast these live streams to your platforms if you are a guest with us. So if we're broadcasting to Twitch, Facebook, and YouTube, then you could also be broadcasting to those 3 platforms on your account, thereby creating 6 evergreen locations where content could be experienced. And I have to thank Eli Lev for introducing me to Restream. I would not be as excited or invested in it as I am without that guidance. Eli did our very first test live stream here with Restream on one of his Folk Music Fridays. We have the Eventbrite creation. That process is not terribly difficult, having done it a number of times. You've got your title, kind of your categories and tags, pretty traditional. Setting up whether we're going to be at a physical location or for these, most of them are online. Dates, I'll just kind of walk through. What haven't I done? ABC events. Let's see what that does. So then you've got the image uploader. The design with Canva thing is new. I haven't tried to integrate that. At times I have used Canva to make our Eventbrite images, but I have yet to try the integration. I'm mostly designing on Photoshop these days. Been a Photoshop kind of guy since CS2. So anyway, you put in the description, the add video, and let me show you what this looks like for an event we have coming up. We've got this live stream interview with L. Mitchell. Oop, it's not working. It says, let's try that again. So we've got our basic info, title, company, keywords. In the details section, as you can see, we had the option of adding photos and video. So we've got our banner. We've added a music video as well as the album art just to give folks a chance to see what we'll be kind of talking about. Because it's online, we could have it so people would have to access the stream via Zoom. Again, I'm kind of going with YouTube. I kind of like that open access platform for these free events. We have done paid ticketed events that are private, and those are just done a little bit differently. The concepts or in general the themes are the same, but excuse me, there's usually a chance to do something a little bit more contained. The artist might know most of the people there or be trying to like solidify that community a little more. But the process is pretty similar. And then you go through the publishing side of it. It'll publish it to the homepage or to the it'll publish it to the Eventbrite platform. So now you can see what it looks like. Formed. And then if you choose to access the event, you'll see that it would come up when the time comes. I think it probably just isn't there. There it is. So that's that. And then, of course, y'all are probably familiar with what a Facebook event looks like, so I probably won't take us over there. It just requires some minimal modification to take this event and turn it into a Facebook event after the fact. All right, so let's see where we are. Oh, there's the Facebook. Quick links. So I typically haven't boosted these events in advance because the content that we're publishing hasn't quite made it to the events themselves consistently. They're usually going to the homepage of Alchemical. So you can see we're live now, and you can see that we were live. So I'm often boosting these. Now it's unfortunate, again, just Facebook's rights aren't quite as flexible as YouTube's. So a lot of the content when we are actually getting to that portion is being blocked. So I, again, just kind of lean on YouTube right now as that most accessible space. But I will boost these posts if possible, or I will boost the video media on here as well as YouTube, just to extend the reach. And also, it gives me an opportunity, like this artist tonight was from San Diego, so we'd actually have an opportunity maybe to target audiences not only around DMV but in San Diego. And that is one of our little secret trips for being able to take the music of the DMV and expand it to other areas. So I go back to a kind of a running question of, why aren't we just doing Washington, D.C., Maryland, Virginia artists? And this is it. You've got to get out of the bubble and, like kind of create a home and invite everybody to it. So if we are able to create great relationships with artists from around the country or around the world and be able to share their media, be able to name drop, oh, well, you sound like this artist, or we think that, you'd put on a really good show with these artists. That's the kind of world that we're existing in and building and creating, even though it's already here. So just looking to make some of those improvements. Let's see, let's look at the rest of the outline. Come back to that. I bet I could boost this a bit for you. So we've got the Restream, we're going to the event, we've got Facebook. It's an hour-long broadcast. It usually doesn't last quite that long. Let's see. It's usually in the 45 to 50 minute mark. I am in the green room at 7:30. If an artist is technologically challenged, then they can get there with me at 7:30. If they've got more experience, I'd say, in maybe using some of the live streaming platforms or technology, then they can join me at 7:45, and we'll just kind of go over the scripting. And I read I read the intro verbatim, or I try to. Sometimes I mess that up. But then I also have questions geared towards finding out more about the artist individually, more about things they do for fun or relaxation. And then we start to dive into pieces of media, usually 2 of them over the course of the interview. I have them on my PC, so I'm kind of queuing them up right before I go. I try to take us through, in this case, we've again had a lot to cover. We've got an EP, so we've got, multiple songs, so not all of them that we had the time to be able to cover on the broadcast in detail, but I'm definitely trying to give people some of the background story of what went into the music and the production and the songwriting and the inspiration. And that will hopefully encourage people to go and check out at least the songs that we're covering, hopefully dig into the rest of the additional content. And that's what we'll be doing again with L. Mitchell on the 21st. We'll be going into another EP with 5 tracks. One of them is a song that she wrote for the school shooting at Uvalde, Texas. And so that's called Return to Neverland, Hold On to Neverland. And then the EP is called The End of My Beginning, and the title track is another track that we'll be premiering during that broadcast. So that's generally how the scripting works. I try to share social media handles, websites, or anything else that the artist, specifically would like to try to touch on or point people to. If you have, other upcoming releases or live performances, things like that, we try to pull those out into the light. Let me close this up. Go back to. Okay, so talking again about action items, we've done things like pre-saves, we've done things like mailing lists, anything that we can try to create a better relationship between the artist and the fans. So the tech I've already gone over a little bit, mostly using Zoom or Restream for our broadcasts or our interviews, at least at this point. Different APIs, allow us to connect to the different sites, and then integrating social media in terms of, again, maybe a TikTok or an Instagram takeover could be a prerequisite or leading up to a live stream, or maybe something that we do after the fact to bring more attention to the live stream. We've gone over the event, web banner, which again you can kind of see on the homepage of the site. All of those kind of past one. I haven't decided how far back I want to go before I start changing them. I'd love for you to keep your eye on Right on October 12th. That's going to be a good one. I'm excited for that too. And let's see. The last thing is I did touch on the advertising. Let's see. I suppose if you wanted to dive into a more extensive outline of advertising, it could be difficult. I could certainly share what we do for advertising. I could explain why we take different advertising courses, or avenues, I should say, not so much courses like lessons. I'm honestly usually just working off of consistency sake. So I've tried to use the same kinds of budgets for the same kinds of ads in order to be able to track the reach or the impact of those ads, and then make modifications as you go. I think if too many variables are in play, at the same time, then you're not getting good data, because so we try to make little changes between each one. Sometimes that's the audiences, in particular, just regionally, as I mentioned with Field Rush. When I run the advertising campaign for that, we'll be sharing it in San Diego, which will have a benefit to both Field Rush and to Alchemical Records and to the other artists that we cover on the site. So location, certainly. Age range. I mean, if we're doing something with an older artist, it would make sense for us to target that older audience. But I don't know. I feel somewhere torn in between. Like, I don't want to be missing out on content about older artists just because I'm younger, and I don't want to be missing out on music from younger artists just because I'm older. So it's just a very very careful decision, like process for each one. So we could spend some time. I'd love to know what works for you. We've spent some time in advertising, from YouTube videos, Facebook content, posts, stories, and videos, video media. We've recently done some stuff with Google Search Console just to increase our SEO exposure for when people are looking for specific search terms. So we've dabbled in a lot of stuff over the years. We've done boosts for some of the Eventbrite events. We've taken out ads in radio and on in papers. Not so much. I've had some experience with advertising in magazines as well, but I haven't spent a lot of time advertising Alchemical in magazines, because quite honestly, we are one and looking to kind of be in that space. So I'm just not sure what the decorum is or the format for us to be in that vein. Thank you for joining us tonight for How Does Alchemical Records Conduct Interviews and Live Stream Q&As. I have gone a little bit over the technical side, the advertising side, of course, scheduling, and in like scripting out the interview content, preparing media in terms of audio, video, and marketing material like event banners and square posts and images and things of that nature. So I hope that you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, please feel free to drop them into the comments and let me know what other kinds of topics you would like to discuss here on developing content from scratch, and I will be more than happy to try to answer your questions and spend that time with you. Thank you again. Find out more at alchemicalrecords.com, and we'll see you next time.